This episode is brought to you by 1010. 1010 is an exclusive collection of 10 one-of-a-kind engagement rings designed by 10 of the most distinctive designers working today. Using only diamonds responsibly and sustainably sourced from Botswana, 10 design masters have each produced a set of 10 uniquely beautiful diamond rings, and they're available now exclusively at BlueNile.com. This exciting collection of truly unique, limited edition diamond engagement rings is available now only at BlueNile.com. This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 876. Anxiety lately? Surprising reasons why and what to do about it. Part 1, by Jodie Eckleberry-Hunt of JodieEckleberry-Hunt.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new week of ORD, the podcast on which I narrate to you from some of the best relationship articles and books around. I am your host, Greg Audino, and I am back with you today with more great information to help you optimize your relationships. We are actually starting this week off with a two-parter from Jodie Eckleberry-Hunt. She'll be talking about why there seems to be so much more anxiety in the air lately, and what we can do about it. Surely you've all noticed the uneasiness many of us have felt over the past year, so it's time to hone in on how to fix it. Let's get started with part 1 of her post and start optimizing your life. Anxiety lately? Surprising reasons why and what to do about it. Part 1, by Jodie Eckleberry-Hunt of JodieEckleberry-Hunt.com. I'm getting lots of calls from people I haven't seen in a while. They're feeling stirred up. I'm feeling stirred up too. I'm waking up at night with fear that has no name. I can't sit still. I feel it in my bones. It's anxiety. People talk about not being themselves. They talk about being irritable. They talk about being incredibly uncertain. They're talking about anxiety. Even if people aren't directly complaining about the world in which we live, I promise you it is contributing to epic levels of anxiety. Causes of anxiety. Fears of family/friends/self getting COVID-19. Anxiety around not knowing when the COVID-19 pandemic will be over. Uncertainty about the future. Anything from vacations to jobs to family visits to income to food and supplies. Financial and job insecurity. Lack of social visits and flexibility. Reduced freedom in order to prevent COVID-19 spread. Not being able to see others' faces and read emotions in public situations. And this carries an incredible mental and emotional punch, even if you haven't noticed it yet. Political unrest, divisions, and outright nastiness. Cultural unrest, racism, hate, and violence. Forces in the world striving to turn each of us against the other into enemies. News media infested with negativity. Social media that is skewed and hyper-pitched. A complete lack of unified leadership, planning, and vision at the federal level. A lack of positivity in any messaging we receive. It's no wonder people are feeling out of sorts and anxious. How else are we supposed to feel? Long-term issues. Although there is plenty to worry about each day, my fears, unfortunately, are long-term. I worry that we, as a society, are becoming way too comfortable seeing one another as inhuman. Taking it one step further, I feel like we are at high risk of dehumanizing one another as we further disconnect. Technology, including video classrooms and video meetings and video socials, plays a role. Not being able to read others' emotions due to masks plays a role. Not socializing plays a role. Not taking time for basic courtesies in public, like saying hello or opening a door, plays a role. I see people becoming more and more detached, and don't think for a moment that this isn't going to have a long-term impact on kids who have not yet had a chance to form the understanding that this isn't normal. Don't get me wrong. I believe we have to employ every tool we have to get through this moment safely. I strongly believe in masks and social distancing. My point in emphasizing the downsides of the prevention cure is that we need to proceed thoughtfully. Anytime we have pain, it is important to reflect on what we have to learn. Sometimes there is nothing we can do to fix, but we can listen and learn. There's always a chance to grow. One lesson I hope we learn is that this cannot become our new normal. Our anxiety is telling us this. We cannot let the undercurrent of suspicion, distrust, anxiety, mean-spiritedness, and fear become business as usual. What keeps me up at night is how fear is driving our behavior in wildly erratic ways. When fear is combined with the dehumanization of others, we see people throw temper tantrums in public for being asked to comply with safety policies. We see people physically attack and sometimes kill other people with misdirected rage. We see people attacked on social media with soul-crushing vigor. My underlying fear is that these times are eroding our human energy to empathize. To have empathy is to attempt to see the world as if you were the other person and try to feel what the other person might feel. In other words, you imagine how the other person might feel based on his or her life experiences. Empathy is the ultimate in perspective taking because it is emotion-based. While we can never fully feel what another person feels, we have the ability to try, and that is what we are losing because we are becoming too complacent about forces tearing us apart in our world. We are not on guard about the cost to human emotion. And there are huge consequences. When we lose empathy, it makes it all too easy to attack first and commence defending ourselves as being the victim. When we have only our own perspective, we are full of blind spots. There are overwhelming signs of empathy erosion. We can listen to daily reports of astronomical numbers of people sick and dying and not be moved. We can see images of children being detained in cages and torn from families and not feel heartbroken outrage. We can see those with different beliefs, backgrounds, or experiences as enemies and threats rather than sources of new information. The United States used to be an interdependent society because we had to be. We looked out for one another, shared resources, and built one another up. For several decades, we have been on a trajectory of rugged individualism, touting self-reliance and individual success. This comes at a high cost. Empathy gets in the way of self-interest. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled, Anxiety Lately? Surprising Reasons Why and What to Do About It, by Jodie Eckleberry-Hunt of jodieeckleberryhunt.com. This episode is sponsored by Apostrophe, a prescription skincare company for people that are ready to take their acne seriously. Just go online and fill out Apostrophe's quick questionnaire about your skin concerns and your medical history, snap a few selfies, and the dermatologist that Apostrophe pairs you with will respond with a customized treatment plan for you. Apostrophe even offers topical and oral medications so you can treat your acne from the inside out or the outside in. I find the one-on-one kind of experience and individual attention that Apostrophe offers really go a long way. It's just so much easier to feel confident, unlike when you go to the pharmacy and you pick something off of the shelf with no guidance whatsoever and just, hope it works. So to get started, just go to apostrophe.com/ORD and click Begin Visit. Then use the code ORD at sign up and you'll get $15 off your dermatology visit. That's apostrophe.com/ORD and use that code ORD to get your dermatology visit for $15 off. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring the podcast. So a very reflective and honest start from Jodie in part 1. I think so far she's really articulated the severity of what we have on our plates right now, individually and societally. As with anything, the longer we are exposed to these conditions, the more normal we feel and the more numb we become to not only that which we can change, but also our desire to do so. Definitely something to sit on and contemplate this evening before we come back for part 2 in tomorrow's episode, where Jodie looks to offer some solutions and steps we can take in the right direction. Not easy stuff, but important stuff nonetheless, which is why we bring it to you. So I will be back tomorrow for part 2 with more commentary on it. With that, everyone have a wonderful evening and remain grateful for what you have and remain vigilant for the healthy changes you can be a part of. I will see you back here tomorrow for part 2, where your optimal life awaits.